You're watching X-Men Omni with Justin and John. And their good friend, Hank. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah, and right, we are. This is Omni X-Men. Chris, you got so close. You almost crushed it, sir. That was amazing. Thank you, Chris Claremont, for the intro, and Bobby De La Ghetto for bringing that clip to the show. Because this is your Tuesday night hangout for X-Men talk. We are Justin and I going omnibus through omnibus. We're going through the Chris Claremont run. We are almost to issue 200. That's how far we've gone. Giant size through almost to 200. We are crushing it, and he's right here backstage. What's up, man?
Bravo to Bobby, Station Bobby. We appreciate you for sending that in. I gotta upload that on my channel still. Love that he did that, man. That was so cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Before long, Chris is going to actually know us. He's going to be like, why does everybody keep asking me to say the same thing?
Yes, we need to get more people to ask them next time.
Then we can make a giant video of all the times he says it.
And then he's going to watch it one day and he'll be like, why do you cut me off every time I go to talk about one of my books?
Yeah. Why do you keep making fun of the books I wrote? I thought this was like a love thing. Why do you guys always
promote myself?
Right. Fun at all of it. What's going on here? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. We're back with another Tuesday Omni X-Men. I found my issue, a nice little
newsstand.
Got this one. Actually bought this back in 2020 on Instagram. I always write on
you actually write the notes. I love it.
For a lot of them, I do.
I love it.
From Poison Dragon Comics, so over on Instagram.
Yeah, we're talking about issue 191, a classic first appearance issue, and part 2 of the issue we discussed last week over on Justin's channel.
The one we bashed.
The one we took a lot of shots at, poked a lot of holes. If you don't know, this is a show that bounces back and forth between Justin's channel and mine. I got the links down below for his Instagram and his YouTube. You got to hit the notification bell so that you're back and forth each week and can follow the story along, because we do trivia at the end of each episode. You can answer, you can get in the raffle. We got a ton of prizes coming up here in June. We're basically down in the final stretch, 7 episodes left, more or less. So you got to be in on this. You got to be here for it. Make sure you hang out at the end. All you got to do is make our guest laugh. And speaking of that, toughest guy to make laugh in the room, we got the Chett Eye.
What's up, Chett?
What's up, boys?
Just be ready. No, this is a no mocking Cyclops zone as of this minute. You guys, if you want to make somebody laugh and get points in the chat, you just got to know your audience here.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I'm hard to make laugh.
I feel like, Chett, you have like a hit list that you're just going to pull out and be like, all right, first of all, before we do the show, I need to call this person out for bashing Cyclops. I need to call this person out.
2 of the, Jackson Roy Kirk is one of them.
He's out. He's out of the trust.
JP.
Yeah.
John's in second place. Now I'm counting down, and you smiling. Justin, you're number 1.
Number 1 with a bullet. The host is taking the top 2 spots.
I don't know
Look at that.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm assuming this is a really good list. This is a
good
good list to be on. Right? Yeah, like we're the number 1 and 2. I love this.
It's number 1 in his heart is what he's listening.
Yeah.
Right now.
Good to see you guys, man. Thanks for having me on.
Good to see you, sir. If
always,
you guys don't,
always great.
If you guys in the chat don't know Chett, you guys are missing out. If you go over and find that Instagram, the link is down below, you will be floored by this gentleman's collection. It is absolutely astounding and absolutely impressive. And so we're just always happy to have you hanging out with us, whether in the chat, on the stream, and we will get you back. I already got promises out to you for next season for that New Mutant. So be ready.
Yeah, I know this once a year thing doesn't work for me.
We don't want to mess up.
I'm like, I log on Tuesday nights going, why is this guy up?
We don't want to mess up your gym time. I know you got to get the reps in. We don't want to mess up with your softball.
I've been on a break from that because of recent things. So I'll be back in the gym maybe in a month.
There we go.
Right now, I'm just a fat guy, and I'm gonna enjoy the extra 700 pounds. And
I liked Old Wolf in the chat said, "Shit, it's Chett. He can't vote today." That's the main highlight of Tony.
There you go. Tony's ready.
Being happy that Chett is on the screen.
Dude, I don't have the spell check ready. Nothing. Like I'm ready to go, man. It's a relief actually, because I know Candace is playing catch up right now. and I know she's coming on strong after last week.
You better watch out. Candace is
I
there.
am.
She is coming on strong.
I know.
Names.
Let's
I'll
say
keep
hello to
my
the
eye
chat.
on her.
We got a lot of friends out there. We got Las Cruces from New Mexico. What is going on, sir?
Hello.
¿Cómo estás?
The aforementioned old wolf Tony in the chat.
T-Rock.
Adam makes stuff. My homie here in SoCal. Adam.
I love his name.
So good. Also singing our theme song. He says, "My favorite Nimrod is here. Now you may start the show."
Wow.
Oh, your favorite. He said your favorite. So I'm assuming he's talking to himself. He says, Justin from the Shi'ar Galaxy, the man, Chet, and Rachel Dinners, Diana Ross, and the Chatters.
I'm glad to have a threesome going.
Oh, I think we lost did Justin freeze up? He might have frozen. Hello, Kenneth Bird. We still got Chett Eye and me. So there you go. I am wearing, yes, Old Wolf. I'm wearing the shirt you made. The how do you pronounce Chod?
It's Chod.
Sure, why not? Was that really the Beast as the Thinker? Yes, it was right there on Chris Claremont's table. We got our friend Candace in the chat. Candace, how you doing? You're so awesome. Hope things are going well. Let's see. We got the Jackson Roy Kirk. What is up, Jackson? Good to see you, sir.
Speaking of the devil,
he says, Chet, I'll make sure to make fun of Byrne and Cyclops tonight. Oh, he's burning all the bridges.
You'll never knock those statues over.
Let's switch these around. Now we got him back. What is going on?
Justin.
Over under 2 is the number for how many times I've freezed tonight. Over under 2.5.
There was a time he used to make fun of me and my slow internet.
It hits us all, man. The internet goblins hit us all. And it may have just hit Justin again. I got 2 frozen Justins now. What is up, Joel the Geek? How you doing, Joel? Good to see you, friend.
They're not exactly.
No, he said extra fries. That's what Ryan's saying. John, do I have my shorts? I do have shorts on. They're just not the Hoochie Daddy shorts. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on it. But I was telling Chet,
it's too hot.
We got Conlon Comics again, and we got 2. I'm going to leave all the Justins on the stage. Is what I'm going to do. They're all going to take.
Hold on, I need a screenshot of that.
Over under 2.5.
Look, he's always smiling though. He's always happy.
yeah, always happy.
I'm going to put that in the story tomorrow.
That bad Shi'ar internet for sure. Hashtag copy Chet says Cali Comics. John is in the chat. What's going on, John?
Okay.
Let's see.
Cali.
Thank you all for coming by and supporting the Justins and me. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, as I mentioned, stick around at the end. We'll do trivia, but we're gonna first force this guy to do some trivia. We're gonna do some rapid fire questions for my man Chet here. It's been a hot minute since we've had him in the booth here with us. So I've been preparing the lightning round just for him. Are you ready for this, Chet?
I'll try to be. I don't know what to expect.
All right. First question for you. Which mutant would you draft first for your mutant baseball team?
Colossus.
Ooh, big heavy hitter. Get that heavy hitter.
Yes.
Right. I'm gonna save that one for later. Sorry. Which mutant do you think has the best? You're a money guy. Which mutant has the best financial sense?
Oh, that's probably most likely Warren Worthington.
You think? I mean, I feel like he just fell backwards.
Which mutant? It's crossed up between him and Emma. No,
Emma. Yeah, I like Monet St. Croix. Seems like she's got some business savvy.
I would have to go with Emma on this. We've seen her discuss business before, and she's no nonsense.
Yeah, she holds down the table whenever she's speaking. Right.
I'm going with Emma.
Okay. There you go. Who is the most underrated mutant for you?
There's a little bit of Cyclops in that one, but
X-Men 97 is giving him a little spot to shine.
I'm gonna say I've always said Nightcrawler is very underrated, and I mean, it seems like lately is when people are starting to catch on to him, and I think it is because of X-Men 97. But I'm going to stick with that answer. Nightcrawler is leagues above what everybody actually thinks he is.
All right. Okay, speaking of that, then should Amanda Sefton find a boyfriend who doesn't always put her life in jeopardy? Should she move on?
And who doesn't smell like brimstone and
right? I mean, you have that drawback too. She doesn't seem to mind. She doesn't.
That
he's
part
bouncing in and out.
She's been around for a long time now, and I mean, it's kind of weird with their whole family dynamic.
Is
I
it just
guess
a bad
so.
situation? Yeah. Okay.
I don't have much of a problem with it, but with the way Nightcrawler gets around, though, I would say she's better off going somewhere else.
Right.
Last time we saw Nightcrawler trying to be faithful to anyone, he was on top of a roof with Silver Sable.
Which was awkward as well.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Who is a better match for Storm? Forge or T'Challa?
I got to go with Forge. I just felt like T'Challa felt like a industry force. It's like African and African. Duh. That's the way I felt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my biggest frustration is that cover that has like all these women. It's like, who will he choose? As if it's like he gets to pick.
He's the richest dude in Marvel. I mean, he owns a country, the whole nine, and everything.
That's fair.
Forge hit it first.
Forge hit it first. Oh, I love it. Okay. If there was a mutant comic collector, who would have the best comic collection?
Peter. You said mutant. I almost said Peter Parker.
He seems like a comic nerd for sure.
Which mutant? Which mutant? I gotta go with Colossus. He's an avid reader and artist.
He is.
So
painter.
I like
that's my pick for that.
Okay. Let's see. Which mutant character should not be allowed to have a clone?
Mother Righteous.
Ooh, good modern day pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Look, this guy reads his books. That's a great modern pick.
Definitely Mother Righteous.
Ironic being that she is already a clone. Right?
Yeah. Multiple times.
Who is the second best X-Men artist?
How would you do that to me?
I'm not gonna let. I'm gonna keep his name out your mouth.
It's the second best for me has got to be, as much as I love Jim Lee, I gotta go with Neil Adams.
Ooh, nice, bold, out of the box pick.
Yeah, because you know who my number one is, and in the name of the Father.
That's all right. That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question.
Okay.
Cliff says second best Burn.
How do we block him?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give him a wrench. We got a frozen Justin again, but it's all right. We'll just keep rolling on. I think that was my seventh, which leaves me three more.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you prefer the X-Men on Earth or in outer space?
I
gotta say on Earth, because there's a lot of damage that happens when they're dueling on Earth. In space, I feel like, it's good stuff, but the stuff that's happened to them on Earth has been everything from volcanoes to multiple plane crashes in like 3 to 5 issues, and there's a lot of good action coming from them on Earth. Not to say that space wasn't, spectacular when they were there, but all their Earth stories seem to have some good stick to it,
All right, last two questions. Is Rogue stronger than Colossus?
I would have to. I want to speak to your editor. Yes, because she's got galactic powers from the Kree. Colossus is Earthborn, mutant, strong, powerful, invulnerable, but she's she's space powerful and flies through spaceships and leaves them burning in her wake. So I gotta say Rogue.
Justin is fighting the TVA.
Seriously,
there it is. Messing him up.
I've been very
That's
busy.
great.
Messing him up.
Very busy.
Oh, looks like Cliff agrees with you. It looks like lots of people agreeing with you on that one. All right, last question, the one I've been saving for last. Who is the bigger jerk, Xavier or Cyclops?
Come on now, dude. Why would you do this to me? So it's between Xavier's wheelchair and Cyclops' visor at this point. Oh, after reading what I've read lately, I've got to say Professor X. Unless he,
modern reading point.
I've got to say, unless he has some sort of ulterior motive that's going to exonerate his current decisions, he's definitely the biggest jerk in mutantdom.
Right. He's kind of sold himself now.
Huh. Like a hole in 40 seconds.
Cliff's agreeing with you. Cliff's like, yeah, no, not, nope. Great folks in the chat here. We got Stu from Dr. Doom's fan club. Stu, how are you doing?
Yeah, I don't want to hear from him and I go back and forth about Colossus and Dr. Doom. I tease him, but he takes it seriously when it comes to Dr. Doom. So.
and Gore Vidal saying Colossus has another vulnerability, his sister. Oh, no, sorry. Kitty Pryde. Katya.
I wouldn't know if he's so vulnerable to her these days.
I would say, yeah. Let's see. I hate Cyclops, but Professor X is the bigger jerk.
Wow.
Well, Chett, I appreciate you letting me mess around and have some giggles with us.
No problem. Tough questions, awesome, man. Woof.
Yeah. What is up, Carlito Classico? As a reminder, we also have another link in the chat below. This is, or in the description below. This is for Thony Silas, our featured artist for this season. And you can check out his Instagram, his amazing pieces, and of course, have the option to potentially win a catered. I don't want. What am I thinking? The word here, a piece that we've already paid for you to enjoy. We've already put in the money. All you got to do is win, and it'll be shipped to you. You can pick what you want it to be. If you want to add to it, you can certainly specify and pay a little more and add to it.
Here's a past winner here.
Yes. So it's a commissioned piece. That's the word I was looking for. And you can win it by sticking around at the end, making us laugh and having some good times.
It looks a lot like the one over this shoulder.
Oh, do you have one in the background there?
That's the one I won. Well, not that one. This one, this side.
It was the Colossus one with the Sentinel. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yes. Yep. Oh, yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's the one.
What is going on, Sheena? Good to see you. What's up, lady?
Hey.
So definitely check out Tony's work, and then of course stick around to the end, and hopefully you can get entered to win some of that. But that's enough chatting for now. Let's get into issue 191. Justin, let me throw it to you on this cover. John Romita Jr. back again, obviously.
Yeah. So I definitely, this cover stands out to me as far as one that I like a lot more than I feel what we've seen in the past. I mean, really all season, I think this might be one of my top favorites from this era. I feel like, even before reading to this point, just from a collector standpoint and going through, back bin issues and things like that, this cover always stood out to me almost as whoa, what's this one really nice cover doing here amongst all these other, that's kind of what that's a genuine.
Look at Chett just nodding. Yep.
That was a genuine. Yeah, no, that was like a genuine thought. So these last ones have been pretty rough, but this one in particular definitely has always stood out to me. I love the detail of all the different faces that you see in the background. I mean, it's something that I didn't even notice like the first time around ever looking at this. This was like over time that I started to just give notice to all these other details to it.
Sure.
And the fact that these two are so, primarily the only like spin to it, or like, it's weird because I always talk about if the cover matches the book, like I usually appreciate that, and it does, but I feel like there's so many other things that happen in this book that are more focused on than these two fighting, that it just seemed a little now that I read it, it's like seems a little random as far as this particular
this is the
scene
one
out of everything. Yeah.
Sure.
But regardless, it's a beautiful cover. I mean, again, that's what caught my attention first. So yeah, definitely worth having. And I got my little, as I showed before, my
Yeah,
newsstand.
you do newsy.
Yeah.
Chett Eye, I know you're not the biggest Romita Jr. fan. How are you feeling on this cover?
I think this cover is expressive. Basically, you know, it captures the, I guess, totality of everybody. Everybody's in the book. I guess, you know, how hard could it be to draw Vision and Colossus fighting each other? I don't think that's too difficult, but I give him credit because he has all the other background characters, and it looks like they're fighting just for that sole purpose of, I guess, you know, the freedom of everybody. So it looks pretty. I guess Justin's definitely right. The last several covers were a whole lot of uninteresting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like we've fallen off in terms of art from where we started to where we are 3 or 4 years later now.
Sure.
And it's you know, still a little subpar for me, but it's getting the point across. And I mean, the story to me ended up being a lot better than I expected years ago. You know what I mean? So when I read it back then, I wasn't so into it, but after reading it a couple of times this week again, just to catch up, I kind of like it.
Nice.
Yep.
So
Well, there's a
I
lot
guess
of great. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I guess the cover fits what takes place inside the book, even though Dustin's definitely right about everything else being so much more important than just Vision fighting Colossus. But
And that's what Candace is saying here too. There's a lot of great comments in the chat. Most people saying definitely better than what we've been getting lately. A lot of people saying that. Appreciate that, folks. Ryan saying the background floating heads feel like a George Perez influence to him. So definitely could see a little bit of that. And I think, somebody said, where was it? Jackson Kirk saying, yeah, like Crisis 5 or something, like one of those event kind of covers.
Yeah, they had all the faces and everything. It's just not. The faces were smaller, and those like that cover is insane.
Oh yeah,
it looks a whole lot better than this one.
and Cliff is saying, don't like JR's art, but I do like this cover. So there you go. Jackson O'Curry says, man, he's no John Byrne. Colossus in his pink shirt. Yeah.
Here we go.
This is a great point. It's going to sell the book. And I think that's my biggest takeaway was you see this on the shelf and you're like, Vision versus Colossus. Like, I need to get this book. Like, I need to know. Yeah. Even if it doesn't maybe live up to that, it's still worthy of like the purchase, right?
Yeah.
What is up? Shop for Comics in the chat. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. I'm sorry. I'm hating the last 3 covers, says Tony. Why don't you speak your truth, buddy? Speak your truth.
For real. I mean, hey.
It's easy to overlook those faces. They definitely blend nicely into the background, which is kind of what I like about it. It helps allow the brighter colors of Vision and Colossus to pop, which is kind of
right.
I dig that. Cover art looks flat in this one. Oh, in those older ones, maybe I think you might mean. I don't think it looks too flat here. His arm seems a little bit out of joint, that arm that's punching Colossus, but I love it, and I love Colossus's fist coming up over the top. There's a lot of good movement going on there. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this cover too.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go
if you look at, I know Jackson Roy Kerr is going to get on me about this or whatever, but and Stewie, of course, about Colossus, but the way he's drawn, it just seems like he did the outline and did very minimal stuff for the inset lines, and you know, in terms of his legs and so forth. I just feel like he could have been a little bit more definitive when it came to him.
More detail, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's John Romita. He's made it into art, and I haven't.
Station Bob going on. We played your clip at the beginning of the video tonight, man. So thank you for talking to Chris for us. I've never had the pleasure, so I appreciate that you took the time to do that for us. It looks like Vision's holding a pom pom. Let's go, Colossus.
Oh man, I'm never.
That.
I know I'm never gonna unsee that. Now.
It's done. It's done now. It's all done. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
Damn it.
It's like the Doom holding Storm Cosby cover. I'm never gonna unsee Cosby now. It's always Cosby cover. Let's move into this story. We got Spidey strung up, and you might have forgotten where we left off. So let me catch you up. We have Conan Goth. He is a sorcerer from the days of Conan who put his essence or his energy into an amulet that has since plagued modern Marvel characters and has now been given him life. And he is able to take over New York City and transform it and its inhabitants into a sort of middle-aged, dark ages with sorcery and magic and weapons. And everybody has forgotten more or less who they used to be and are living in his sort of nightmare. We've got only a few characters who are figuring this out, and it's because they've been able to either escape this realm and come back, or because they're somewhat immune to the amulet's powers. In particular, we got Peter Parker here, who is one of the few people who has been completely aware of what's going on due to previous battles with Conan Goth. And he has been strung up as a result so that Conan Goth can use him as an example. We get this splash page with Peter there in front of various Morlock characters and various New Mutant characters who are in various throes of being controlled by Conan Goth. And you can kind of see in the other panel the recap that's going on, where we realize anybody who was really in New York City at the time is caught in the spell. So that is Morlocks, New Mutants, Avengers, and X-Men characters beyond the average citizens. And most of them have no real knowledge of what's happening, but several of them have banded together as a sort of mock Avengers team to try to figure out a way to solve this. And we also have Storm and Callisto, who had escaped and came back and are not completely aware of who they used to be and are trying to master a way to solve all of this. But Justin, I'm going to throw it to you. We dove back into the story here with two splash pages, one with Peter Parker and one with this sort of Conan Goth kind of drawing right down the center, which is kind of cool. What are your thoughts here as far as the challenge? Because we struggled to figure out what this story was all about last issue. How do you think they did at recapping it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to say this throughout this issue. I wish that this was, and we said this last issue. I really wish this was an annual, like a one, all together written annual. With that said, though, reading these first 2 pages definitely get my attention. If I were a new reader, like just jumping into this and maybe not reading the issue prior, I would absolutely be hooked. One, obviously Spider-Man being in the position he's in, like, of course you're going to keep reading. And then 2, I think for what it is, I think they do a pretty good job of using one full page to recap everything. I'm as someone who read the issue prior, I'm glad it only took the 1 page, because and yes, it's a lot of copy, but you can kind of skim through it, if you already have the gist of the idea. But for someone new, I could still see it being a little confusing. As far as the art goes, though, I love the splash page, and I love the Conan Goth sketch that he's like almost like faded, kind of like he comes into focus around his face, but his legs and his hat and everything are like really washed out, which it looks really cool. The effect that it has, very dark and gloomy, totally evil vibes. So ultimately I loved how this opened up.
How about you, Mr. Chett? I know you're a big Spider-Man fan as well. Here they got your boy all strung up, as Cliff says, strung up. Woo!
I'll give it to Ramita on this. He certainly illustrated pain. Look at Spidey. He's carved up and cut up and bleeding, and the webs under his arms are just dangling. And you got everybody who's possessed by the Conan Goth, I guess, spell, just standing around grinning at him like waiting for the kill. So I like that aspect of it. I like the way he's chained up and everybody's just there waiting. The second splash with Conan Goth, I think, is really cool. I just think it should have been a little less interrupted by everything else around it. I would have been okay with just this picture and all the words around it. You know what I mean? But other than that, I guess that picture in itself is making the page. So
yeah, that's my
I
favorite
don't mind.
single piece of art, I think, for the whole book is that great cool and goth. Well, actually, there's one other one I really like, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
I know exactly which one you're talking about too.
You might see it multiple times. Ryan says, why would
By the
anyone
way,
put Callisto in a thong? And then Old Wolf says, why wouldn't you? All I can say is eye patch. And it does look like her costume is crafted by 3 or 4 eye patches, but we'll get to that costume in a little bit as well.
I was going to compliment your illustration. I mean, your
My gift.
Your GIFs, man. That last one at the bottom is the best.
The wizard.
There you go. Got to get some funky wizard dancing. And yeah, the stretching reminded me of Spidey too. I had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
But let's continue on. We get another kind of like look at what the power of Cool and Goth can do. Obviously, we see Peter. He's trying to get people to help him, but Cool and Goth is like, "There's nothing you can do. You know, I got you. I got you under my thumb. There's nothing you can manage here. I'm going to torture you a little bit." And he goes through and tortures several characters. He's got Selene under his power as well. He sort of takes away her ability to cast spells by taking her mouth away and transforming her arms into tentacles. Nasty. And then when he finds out from Sunder and I can't remember the female character.
Me forget too.
Is it Danny Moonstone?
Danny Moonstone.
Yeah, Moonstar.
Okay. He finds out that they lost track of the mutants and Avengers who were escaping him. He does kind of torture them for a quick moment and then tries to get the weird blend of Caliban Xavier to find them. They say that they can't, that they're outside of their sight. And then finally Sunder, when he's set free from that torture, basically says, I think I know where they went, probably down in the catacombs where the Morlocks go. And that sort of sets them off on where they're going to go hunt for our heroes. But we get a lot of torture here. A lot of Cool and Goth being a torturer. What do you think of this, Chet? What do you think of the power of this villain?
I mean, he's magical, obviously, and he's pretty powerful when he's in control. We already know how come, but he seems pretty intimidating, and he's not pulling punches to anybody at this point. So I guess he's a threat to be taken seriously. And I'll tell you, in the Marvel team-up I read with him, he was pretty much the same way. So
that's the one that's like the precursor to this, which is the Peter Parker story, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, that was a good book in itself. I'm going to demand you guys read that too. But in this book, I mean, he's literally going through with whatever he says he's doing, and he's shutting Selene up. He's punishing Moonstar, Danny, and Sunder for messing up one time. You know, and I mean, you got to take him seriously. He's got all the wizards and everybody locked away, and they can't do anything to him. So you got to figure those are his most dangerous threats. So he's in control right now, and he's hanging tough.
Mm-hmm. Justin, what are your thoughts? There's some pretty graphic, grotesque things happening here right off the bat, whether it's poor Peter Parker, who looks like he's going to have, I don't know, he's screaming in pain. Clearly he's getting tortured somehow. Then you got Selene, and then you got Sunder, and then you got Danny Moons. Like everybody's getting tortured. And then you get Caliban and Xavier, and they're awful, grotesque. It's a lot of nastiness going on here.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, first of all, I know you mentioned that you had another panel that was your favorite. I just wanted to guess. Was it the Caliban and Xavier?
No,
was it not? Oh,
never, man. Never.
Top 3 though.
That's why. No, that's why I didn't know. Walking away.
Yeah, so I love how dark this gets, and you know we had pieces of that in the first one too, or last issue. But yeah, Cool and Goth seems like a really he would be a cool like MCU next big villain type, because he just seems impossible to defeat at this point, seeing how powerful he is, and just like at a snap of a finger being able to destroy anybody. And you know, these are his own like goons at this point that are working for him, and he doesn't care. So yeah, just him demonstrating that power is great. I love Spidey, where he's just like, dude, you keep getting my name wrong. Spider-Man. He's a kid,
and he tells him, yo, when you keep it up, that's gonna be on your tombstone, buddy.
Yeah, he's not having any of it, but I just like that Spidey being Spidey, you know, still says something. He's
always a smart ass. Yeah,
right. I love the removal of the mouth from Selene, like just again very dark, and you know, and just like the close up of Cool and Goth himself, like that far one, jaw and the face, that far one, like he is scary, man. He's a scary dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the vibe that we're getting here right off the bat, just seeing how dominant he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Totally agree. But let's jump to our heroes and see what's going on. They have been seeking refuge. Several characters struggling with this reality, not necessarily understanding who they are because their minds have been shaped just like the landscape has been shaped. You got several Avengers. We got Star Fox. We've got the Wasp reappearing in a weakened state. We got the Captain America who looks kind of like Thor, but he's not Thor. And they're journeying their way through this awful nightmare. They stumble across this red-haired woman who goes by the name of Erilyn. She is basically a librarian archivist for this world, and they're trying to maybe protect her, use her in some manner. And while they're talking to her, they are attacked by, we got several characters here. We got Wanda attacking. We've got Magic and Colossus. So it's all these mixtures of Avengers and X-Men, some of them still brainwashed, some of them not so much, and everybody sort of caught in the fray of this. The one character that seems most useful seems to be Illyana, whose ability to pull out that soul sword and use it has been somewhat awakening these characters. When they get struck by it, it's almost like an element of truth breaks through the spell. Not a complete awareness, but certainly an understanding of who is really manipulating them in this scenario. We also get our first kind of throwdown between Vision and Colossus. Colossus realizing this guy is way more powerful than anybody. I've got to be the one to take him on. Nobody else can do this. I better be the wall to protect everybody. So some great kind of battling going on here at the beginning. I don't know about you though, Justin. Really difficult for me to remember who's on whose team here at this point. Wait, are they on the good guy? I can't. The bad guy team? I can't. It's a little scatterbrained.
Totally. And that's what I think a part of this is just kind of challenging to follow along with, and is a little bit of a turnoff with this issue as a whole. I have been enjoying myself up to this time with this portion of it, but to see the mixture, and no one's, everyone's dressed in their normal, well, not normal clothes, but to a degree, at least they're dressed in different. There's no away team versus home team or something like that, like as far as clarifying who's working for who. So it definitely throughout the issue gets a little confusing. And then the other part is the random chick that looks like Jean Grey showing up. Like, we
gotta have another stupid redhead in here somewhere.
I was wondering, is this the direction it's going in? Is this supposed to be, her? Is this going to be another Cyclops?
We did not need another character. We did not need to add another character here.
Yeah, like we got the
damn it. Claremont. Stick with the 27,000 you've already got.
Right.
Play with one of the toys you've got at home.
Yeah. So this definitely, kind of threw me off here, because at one point I forgot that she was introduced, and later that made
because they give you a panel and a half, and then you like, oh, by the way, I totally remember this chick now. Even though she looks like three other redheads that might pop in and out of here.
Good luck.
Looks like some people agreeing. Some jokes happening here. Bobby saying Callisto looking good at closing time. Jackson Kirk saying I'd leave before closing time if that's the case. Shots fired. Old Wolf looking to get that Hyborian library card because he's looking to check out some tomes. No pants needed at the library. No pants. No, this is a pants-free zone. He is going with that new red costume. So those that don't know, this is the new era. They've given him something of a Mother Russia red kind of costume for sure.
Kremlin red.
And yes, this is the sequel, Conan the Librarian. Yes. Chet, any thoughts here on the Avengers X-Men blend of who's on whose team? Everybody just fights.
I didn't mind it because I felt like the first illustration of what would be the rebel team. It shows you who's who. It tells you who's who. It's pretty explanatory. I didn't like the fact that Star Fox had anything to do with this. I don't like him.
Not a high quality Avengers team we got going here.
Not even. I remember an actual scene in Infinity Gauntlet where Thanos shuts him up by taking his mouth.
It is. So he does.
A little bit of I'm wondering if JR, kind of bled that
inspired
a little bit. And So yeah, other than that, I could deal with it. Wasp is Wasp, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't like the new woman, like you said. Where are we going with her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is this another clone or whatever? And I was like, let's hold the reservations until we actually know. But other than that, I could deal with the fact that the teams are split up and how they were categorized, or for the most part.
We got our friend Alan Climbing Comics in the chat. What's going on, Alan? We're going to get Alan here very soon on an upcoming episode. So glad to see you in the chat, sir. I remember the Vision versus Colossus was a big deal at the time. There you go.
Yes.
Joel, the cosplay master, he's looking to maybe do this Colossus costume. Nice. I do think it's one of my. I do think it's a fun cosplay. Costume. It's cool.
That'd be cool.
Well, let's continue along with the middle of this fight that we're in here, and we found John's other favorite. We will definitely be talking about this drawing a lot.
I didn't know you like Cannonball that much.
I am a big fan. Big fan. In the midst of this throwdown, we've got New Mutants and Morlocks flying in, and Rogue, holding her own, doing fairly well until one of the Morlock kind of human guards grabs her, and she accidentally absorbs the human side of him and gets stabbed right in the back. One of the other guards just puts a sword right through her. That's bad news because you angered Red Sonja herself, and Storm just unloads on these guys. Even Captain America's like, she's gone berserk. The girl's death has driven her mad. Bless her.
And meanwhile, Don's like, look at her killing that outfit.
Yes, absolutely. A practical costume, very useful in battle.
I forgot he said bless her.
Yep. And in the midst of it all, they decide we need to get out of here. They ask Rachel to punch a hole in the wall, and then Illyana helps them basically like mask themselves so that they can escape. Storm covering their escape and gets rescued by Warlock, who is realizing like, I need to get through to her somehow, but he is stuck because his alien physiology has allowed him to have a connection to his old mind, but at the same time, he is now unable to communicate with our characters who have a different language that they're speaking. So he rescues her, sure, but can't really find a way to communicate the important information he wants to communicate to her. Chet, how do you like the artwork here?
I gotta say, from the minute Warlock enters, I like the artwork. So I'll say the Storm panel is pretty good. Her alone, I guess the other pieces in that are, I guess, they don't have to be as well drawn as her, but
there's a lot of words I'd use to describe that panel, and pretty and good are not any of the ones I would choose. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you. Let's take another look at it. Like, you compare it to Red Sonja, you get the side by side. I'm seeing just greatness is what I'm seeing. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's very helpful. So it's not the greatest piece of art, but I guess it's led by, or it's being pushed by a skin factor, a skin trade.
I didn't notice that. Okay, that's an interesting take.
So I guess that's what's making that panel especially you're a big Storm guy, and seeing that much of her doesn't happen much. I guess, you catch a loose nipple here and there in old Byrne stuff.
In old Byrne books, yeah.
But other than that, the art is, honestly, in Storm's case, the art is okay. It's Romita.
You're getting dangerous. You might bounce. I'm just saying, your internet might be going down, buddy. I'm just saying, watch out.
I would say the panel where he's lifting Storm up is a great one.
Also,
where he's flying into space.
I'm happy with that one. Justin, any thoughts here? Rogue getting stabbed and killed. They killed her. They just killed her.
Yeah, so I don't think I was ready for something to be so heavy that happens here. Like, I think, it's easy to kind of skim through this almost, and reading back through and taking my time with it, I'm like, this is pretty heavy. And that moment where Storm pretty much sacrifices herself, she tells everybody else, like, go, I'll hold back the demons. And that was kind of their window to escape. If you saw this on a big screen, like, it's pretty emotional, I think, ultimately.
Absolutely.
And I'm still, questioning what's going on, what happened to Rogue. You want to hope that she survived the blade, but I mean, the way she falls forward there, we don't get much other detail from that. Nor, I mean, the rest of the people kind of leave without her. So
we don't have time to slow down for story. We got to keep going.
Yeah.
People got to get shivved. We got to keep going with the story.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
I love Roy Kirk's comment where he said, I didn't even notice the people around Storm.
There's some people, and there's some other people in there.
There's a background.
Candace was saying that the guy on the train next to her really enjoyed the eye candy. So good.
I'm going to say that. I'm sorry. I was going to say that after that scene happens, I guess the rest from here on out, the team portion of it really got me interested more so than what I've read up to that point, because it they had a good plan. Captain America's leading the way as usual, and it felt like things fell into place better that way. It's like what we already know, you know what I mean? Right. So I guess I can rock with that and the way goes forward from here.
Sure. I love Candace is like, okay, come on. How does she keep that costume on? How does that even work? And then Adam points out it's a magikini. It's a magikini. It's a very specific kind of
they were very popular in the 70s.
Yeah, it's a comic book physics thing. It's a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a thing. Claremont never told artists put Storm in sexy outfit or poses, so this panel is so surprising. Oh my goodness, you guys are hilarious. Storm in a white bikini with a sword. John is hoping for at least some soft. I mean, I got all I needed. She distracts you with that leg and sends you to a grave. There it is, Bobby, crushing it. Well, let's continue past Red Sonja we got Warlock flying her into like rescue. Rain tried to grab on, but they shook her off. The rest of the team escapes back to somewhere safe, and they're having a lot of arguments among themselves about how to handle this. Illyana and Amara are arguing. Captain America is trying to figure out what to do. Everybody's wondering why Callisto is wearing that absolutely skinny bikini. Lots of questions happening. Looks like some injuries to members on the team on both sides. So those that made it back to Kulan Gath are now forced to suffer his wrath. He transforms Star Fox and the Wasp pretty graphically and is basically preparing for phase 2 of the battle. This is just an appetizer. Justin, any thoughts here on these two warring factions?
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to notice with like Warlock and mentioning that he gets rid of is it Ran or Rain? How do you pronounce it?
Rain. I pronounce it as Rain. Yeah,
Rain. So and this is obviously going throughout the whole book, really, where friends are fighting friends that they're mentally it's got to be really hard, like to try to separate that. And I know, like, even earlier Colossus saying like I gotta fight Vision. I mean, he's like, I know Vision, like, like this is just, but I got to do what I got to do. Right. I just wanted to point it out, like Warlock's a very unique character to begin with, but like you could tell he's like beating himself up here for what he had to do to save Storm, getting rid of his best friend Rain. So as Rain's falling to the ground there in that one corner piece to the this whole section,
right here next to us,
and then the whole thing with like Amara kind of acting weird kind of stood out to me, and I know we get to that later. Captain America even kind of noticing that a little bit and questioning some stuff of his own. I wasn't sure how much he knew, but he seems like he, or I guess he was just reading the room well. I don't know, like with the whole thing with
exactly
and Celine, like he was on top of it. And then another part there. No, I think it's
just what I do, John. It's just,
I was gonna say
gotta be ready. You just don't know. We got Kevin from Entropy and Comics. What's going on, Kev?
Kevin.
Chett. Obviously, Kulan Gath continues his torture transformation thing with some of the characters from the Avengers now. Any thoughts on obviously the amazing power he seems to wield?
Well, he's winning. That's all he's doing right now. He's transforming people. He's getting, I guess, his loyalties are getting stronger with whatever he does to his minions at this point.
Right.
Right now, you got to figure he's in control. There's no way they can beat him.
He's got friends fighting friends, so that even when anybody dies, he wins. Right.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. Where was it? Where he explains what after Rain falls off of Warlock's self-made jetpack or whatever, he injures her. But later on, Cool and Goth already says, don't worry about her, she's already being healed by me. And how powerful is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, and the one thing I hate, I like what he did with Wasp. And it makes sense what he did with Wasp. What did he do to Eros? He gave him a bottle of magical Drakkar and
turned him into Prince Charming. He turned him into Prince Charming right there. Yeah, gave him that.
Gave him like the mega pheromone to attract the women superheroes and serve him. Yep. So it's Star Fox. You got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's a strategy. It's a strategy.
It's like, I'll make him more good looking and dapper.
It works, as we will see later. That's the weirdest part about it. Let's jump back to Warlock and Storm. Warlock, who can't speak to her with words, starts trying to use pictures, tries to connect to her visually, and she's understanding that he is trying to speak to her, but isn't quite grasping it, although he does show her pictures of New York versus pictures of this world that they're living in, and seems to be kind of cracking through to get some from her. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is trying to figure out, how do we break back in and lead this assault. Captain America's like, oh, we go right through the front door. We bring our Rachel Summers right up to the front, and she's going to do the Jedi mind trick on these guys, and we'll get right in.
Well, tonight is Chett Eye Knight trick, please.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. The Chett Eye Knight trick. Right after they make it through and they get past those guards, apparently those guards get killed by Wasp and Eros, who are like, hey, you just let the good guys in. What are you doing over here?
Loyalty to this guy, Cool and Goth.
And as they make their way in, of course, they get discovered. They've got another group that's going underground. We've got Nightcrawler, Callisto, the librarian chick, and Magic, and they get found by Sunder and some of the New Mutants. So we got a lot of like teams now. There's like small teams trying to like lead an assault here, Justin. It's a lot to follow. A lot of good guys, a lot of bad guys, a lot of teams within teams. How you doing?
Hanging in there. Yeah, I really like this set of panels. This whole page was cool to just have a quiet, almost like a calm, quiet moment, separate from all the action going on, just to see these two characters try to communicate, essentially, and Warlock having a little bit more grip on reality right now, trying to catch Storm up on everything. I also think the artwork is really well done. I think this panel right here is probably some of his best work in this
Storm's face.
Yeah, like in this actual book, just the detail. And it doesn't even have much color to it. I mean, it's just like,
I'll give it like third place, fourth place.
All right, yeah. I mean, there's
a couple that I like a little better,
a tiny bit better. But yeah, so that that was something that stood out to me, and just Warlock, trying to figure things out. What was the other part? Glad that you had that GIF in there, because you had to with the Jedi mind trick, which
they totally do it. Yeah, Jedi Knight.
Sorry, the Jedi mind trick.
You need to superimpose my face over his.
Yeah. You gotta do that. And
there's some good color work up here. Obviously, these panels that Justin's talking about too. Some really great color work going on with these blues and purples and pinks.
That's true. And one thing too, I don't think we mentioned from earlier, like I like that they use the Morlock tunnels as like their way to travel, and it's like apparently just out of his reach of his spell or his Cool and Goth spells, that it doesn't quite, like they're kind of in a safe zone and able to just travel under the city wherever they need to go. So I think that's a cool little add on for that location and everything.
Absolutely. Joel, I'm sorry, you probably already left, but thanks for coming by, brother. If you're catching on the rewind, we appreciate you, sir. Yeah, Bobby says he gave Star Fox a toga.
Commando.
He's wearing Drakkar. That's the fragrance that he's wearing to get the ladies. That makes sense.
That's right around when this book was made. No, what year was this
right?
book?
That does make
85,
sense.
I think.
JP says I'm disappointed. I think we could have added at least a couple dozen more characters and 3 or 4 more groups and storylines. It's fair. That's fair. Chett, how are you doing here with some of this, the plotting, some of the artwork we're dealing with here? What were your feelings with these pages?
I like the plot work, the plot scheme more so than the artwork. I like the underground Morlock tunnels. I gotta say, Justin is completely correct, which is rare. But
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
yeah, I said Justin is completely correct in terms of
Right.
this, which is rare. But he pointed out at the very beginning when we started that this should have been an annual.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason this story should be in 4 books. So to me, it seems like, all right, we'll stretch it out as long as we can. We'll grab as much money as we can with Ramita on the title, and then we'll go from there. I'm not feeling that, but he's definitely right about the annual portion. I like the plan. Captain America's plan is going through pretty cool. Obviously, it's going to have its, mix-ups in terms of fighting and who's going to be doing what and where, but the fight gets underway.
Yes, it does.
And it's progressed, and I can deal with it up until this point, more so in story than in art.
Gotcha. Well, it's about to get wild because this is where things get unleashed. We got Callisto with the knives. She's going downtown, just taking that Sunder out. Look at that move. Look at that costume. Amazing.
Oh boy.
We got Nightcrawler bamfing Sunspot until he is absolutely passing out. Some people can't handle the ride. You just can't handle the ride. And meanwhile, we've got our librarian basically like pulling one over literally on Rain. And then of course you've got Illyana trying to wake several of her New Mutants comrades up with the sword. Lots of great action going on here, Chet. Any panels in particular jumping out to you?
The Illyana striking at Danny, which is a good one. Not Danny, I'm sorry. Yeah, at Danny. And the one above it with Rain isn't. I just think Rain looks more like Wolfman Jack than than Wolfsbane. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like that panel. I do think Illyana is pretty well illustrated facially. The one with Danny, I like the strike there. It's pretty explanatory. The Sunder Callisto fight, the way it ended, I mean, it's Callisto. She's not going to pull any punches. So I guess I could deal with that. That's not too bad in terms of, it's just, I don't know why she's wearing that thing.
So good. Yeah,
Other than that, I'm fine with the action here.
Justin, we got Callisto basically killing her fellow Morlock here. And as Candace says, oh my God, that close up on her body startled me. I was reading it in full panel to panel. She jumped right to her midriff,
goes right to
the knife. And then that spin move in the bikini where she just takes him out. Lots to, she's killed him. It even says she kills Sunder. She puts him down.
Yeah. So this was again another heavy moment that I wasn't like expecting. And for knowing that Sunder was Callisto's right hand, and knowing that if she just she just waited like another minute, she would have been able to have Illyana save him, and everything would have been better, and I love that they actually state that, like, well, it just it happened the way this did. She saves everybody, and Callisto just doesn't have the patience, and she's like, I'm killing this dude.
I wanted a moment where she's like, oh wait, all the swords don't wake him up?
Yes, right.
It's just that one. Oh, it's just that one. Crap.
Yeah, like even another scene later where she'd just be sitting by herself, like, wait, so I could have, if I just waited.
I got a question for both of you, though. Look at the panel where Callisto is, where Sunder, where she says, Sunder, tear the traitor limb from limb, and makes her see her hates and fears. Was she a former model or something, Callisto? Because is that her sketched out where she's saying no, curse you, you brat? Or
she's the one screaming no, but the one in her mind, I took it as Celine.
Celine, yeah.
Okay.
I took it as Celine, manipulating.
All right, I got you. Yeah, there it is. That makes sense now. Thank you.
No worries.
One other thing,
if that's Callisto, they need to bring her back.
One other part with this upper panel with Nightcrawler, I think this might be my favorite part and favorite highlight of this issue, for just the sheer fact of seeing his ability and his tactics grow, because I don't think they've really highlighted showing him use the bamfing ability to wear someone out. Like we've slowly learned that does do something, and in the very beginning it wore him out too. And he learned that as he did it together, like him and Wolverine, when he saved Wolverine back in 30 plus issues ago, same thing, like it wore them both out. I remember they were like knocked out for a while in the mansion. So to see how far it's come, and just knowing over these past couple of years of what we've been reading, it's really cool to see this moment here where it's not even a question. He's like, I got the perfect tactic. I'm going to wear you out here. And especially for someone like Sunspot, who, all he has to do is land one punch. And Nightcrawler just knew the exact, solution, kind of putting him down. So I love that they showed that, and they only needed 2 panels to do it. So it was cool.
Well said.
Yeah.
I'm glad that everybody likes Britney Spears. Hashtag free Britney.
It's Britney, bitch.
JP, I mean, she clearly has the body to wear it. I mean, look at those panels. Come on, don't shame her just because she's older or whatever, or only has one eye. We jump back to Peter Parker, still strung up. He's basically been crucified now. Spikes driven through him, it seems, magic spikes, and the teams are all battling. The those that are still brainwashed, those that are trying to set him free, and we get round 2 of Colossus and Vision, and we also have a Wasp trying to jump in and scratch up Colossus. He's still being able to feel the talons through his metal skin, and meanwhile Selene just sort of laying there on the floor, unable to be engaged in any of this. What Vision does is he puts his arms through Colossus in an attempt to defeat him, but all it does apparently is cause the 2 of them to explode and die. Kind of shocking, and somehow Captain America not too harmed by this thing that kills those 2 incredibly powerful characters. A bit of an anticlimactic end to this cover. What do you think feelings here, Justin, when it was kind of like, oh, that's it? That's the whole fight?
Yeah, I thought we were going to get more out of it. I was a little confused with the explosion too. Like I was like, did that make it explode? Was something else coming that showed an explosion? I didn't understand like how or why that exploded the way it did. But yeah, I think I was just expecting a little bit more, again, for the sheer fact that this was the front cover overall.
Right.
So a little bit of a missed opportunity there. I do like that Kulan Gath, again, just showing his power, catching the shield, kind of having full control on however he wants, with Captain America.
Throw it in your chest.
Just again, just the power that you kind of get from some of that. And then I also, this kind of reminded me of Jabba the Hutt, right? Like with her there in like the bathing suit or whatever. That whole little scene there kind of reminded me of Jabba
for sure.
Damn Star Wars heads.
Hey,
you guys still here?
Were you frustrated by how the Vision Colossus thing played out? Because it seems a little anticlimactic after that amazing cover.
I can tell you now, Vision and Colossus are 2 of my favorite, top 5. I admit, Vision is very powerful. If he had to beat Colossus, I think he's beating Colossus. I think this was a way out for John Romita to not make Colossus fans like me feel like, Vision can just run right through it. So I'll end them both. That's truly what I believe.
Sure.
So I have my reservations about how that went in this. It should have been a little bit more, I guess,
drawn out.
More fight. Yeah. But
I feel the same way.
Yep.
That's what I take from it.
I feel you. So let's get back to Peter Parker here, who is basically, he knows they have to get this amulet away from Kulan Gath. He can't figure out a way to explain it to everybody. You've got Scarlet Witch, who's really using a lot of power to fight back against Callisto and her crew as they're charging the throne room. Peter Parker finally decides, I need to get involved in this, and he breaks the crucifix that he's on. He snaps the cross and breaks the pieces to fall to the ground. In an effort, he tries to tell them the amulet, you got to get the amulet. Kulan Gath obviously laughing at it because he's like, they can't understand you. What are you doing here?
Yep. You're wasting your English.
You got Cap, he's kind of knocked out by that explosion. So everybody is really struggling to find a way to defeat Kulan Gath here. Chet, what do you feel? Peter Parker obviously can't be held back.
No, that's Peter. We all know this. I mean, he's always been that guy. He's always going to step up. And after reading this again, I was like, yeah, that's the Peter Parker I know. So got to give it to him. He got himself free. He spills the beans as best he can. And unfortunately for him, it doesn't go too well. Cool and goth, so it's just a matter of they give us Spider-Man the way we expect Spider-Man, but his end in this is truly unfair.
Disappointing for sure. What about you, Justin? Any thoughts here on Peter Parker fighting back as best he can in an impossible situation?
Yeah, again, I think another just kind of an emotional moment here, and him giving everything he has at the very end, just to even get the information out to some of the team about the amulet. So that was big, and just seeing him beat up like that's pretty jarring. Just that in itself. The whole thing with Scarlet Witch, yeah, she is putting in work, turning people into stone like nothing.
Yep.
It's looking really bad for the group. For the good guys, and I know I'm pumped to get into this next bit here. So
let's Warlock finally figures out a way to communicate and get through to Storm, and when he does, she realizes I've got to get away. I got to fly over there and take this necklace away, and he decides, no, you need my help. He basically turns himself into a glider. They fly right into the battle. And then Warlock wraps Cool and Goth up so that Storm can pull the necklace away from him. It seems to be working beautifully until the necklace is pulled from her grasp over to Amara. And everybody's like, what is going on? Why is Amara doing this? Nope. Hashtag not Amara. She drops the disguise, and it's Selene who has wanted the necklace for herself. And she's got her own amazing Hellfire Gala costume, and she now has all the power, and everybody is left realizing what is going on. But Warlock and Storm are not out yet. Warlock is burning in flames, but he knows he's got to figure out a way to stop her. So he starts to come over to try to come up with a plan with Storm here. But some great twists here, Justin, right? Some wonderful,
yes,
who's in the charge? No.
Yep. Yeah. No, this was just the scene of Warlock teaming up with Storm the way they did.
Yep.
For those of you who have ever seen How to Train Your Dragon, there is an epic song that is known for that movie, the first one, and go watch it, or go find that song and listen to it while you read this, because that's what I envisioned, is hearing this song while they come gliding down to kind of save the day, even though it's a short lived.
Know what you're talking about. That's great.
Yeah, it's epic. But unfortunately short lived. Yeah, that it kind of gets thrown off, and it turns out it's Selene this whole time, and really everybody played into her hand. This was exactly what she wanted overall. And I will say, the far panel of her with her hands up with her draped cape behind her and everything, standing the way she is, I feel like out of the I think she's shown up maybe in less than 8 issues that we've read so far. I feel like she's been drawn in that stance in every issue that she's in part of. I just feel like every time she shows up, and she's just like Batman, with
she's
the
got to move.
She's just like every single time. So
I love it.
I don't know. I just think you change it up at some point,
You said that, and I was like, oh shit, he's right.
Every time she shows up, it's like this
There's consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
Chet, any thoughts here on the way they trick Cool and Goth, the way Selene comes into play, what Warlock has got up his sleeve? Some really cool stuff going on.
I love what Warlock did with Storm. The memory thing was good, showing her pictures, just like virtual pictures, and in her mind, the whole bit, she's starting to figure it out, unlock things. The Selene, Amara, who knew that, right? So we couldn't have known that. So obviously there were hints towards it, I guess, with Captain America, but who expected this? So I give them props in regard to just the overall surprise on that. The execution in getting the necklace was good. Obviously, that didn't turn into something fantastic because it was taken from them. And I guess when Warlock finally bites the dust, it's I like,
don't count him out. Don't count him out.
Right. But you know, I guess the way they led into his interactions and his, you know, what's going on with him, it was pretty well done. If only the art were that much better.
Well, I'm definitely digging the Warlock Storm stuff, and it takes a whole new level here at the end where basically they fuse together. Storm and Warlock fuse together, and they trap Selene and the amulet in a cocoon as a way of neutralizing her power. So Storm and Warlock basically sacrifice themselves into a new melded form, and then use it to completely encase and end the power of the necklace once and for all. And when that happens, Doctor Strange, and you might be wondering, is he in this freaking book? Because I haven't seen him. Yeah, he was there the whole time. He is freed from the spell and is able to then figure out a way to counteract this entire thing. And this is the part that irks John a little bit. They're going to retcon these two issues. They packed these two issues full of crap, and now they're going to Doctor Strange retcon this whole thing out. He basically uses the power of the characters that he's got there with him. I think it's magic that he's manipulating. And he basically says, we're good. I'm going to back the clock up a couple of days. It'll be like none of this happened. And don't worry about the necklace. Who cares? It's not important. We'll be back to normal. Everybody who died will be alive again. We'll just shh. Don't speak. Don't speak. We'll just turn back time here. Thoughts, Justin, on how this story after 2 issues wraps up? Because I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, I wish it ended differently. I thought I thought this was kind of just like a cheap way to get out of this whole thing. And like you said, the fact that now technically none of that happened, like they don't have that as a memory, it sucks. You know,
he hits the Control Z. That's exactly it, Alan.
Undo. Exactly. Kind of a cheap, writer's trick or whatever you want to call it. So, but I mean, it is what it is. The whole cocooning with Selene and all that stuff, Warlock playing a massive role throughout all this, really. And then even with so even with Storm. Oh wait, hold on. So was there? Oh wow, this is different than the digital. I realized. Because Storm and Warlock.
She speaks to him as Storm Warlock, right? She says, "Greeting, mage. My assumption of Warlock's form has restored memories of my true identity and the world.
Right.
My prayer was that the wizard's deaths would free the city, but that has not happened." And that's basically the entirety that we get of this new iteration of Storm, and that's it. And then on to Doctor Strange freeing everybody.
Oh, so once the whole Doctor Strange thing happens, then Warlock isn't part of Storm any longer.
Everybody's back to who they were. Retcon, all done.
In the on the app, her eyes, Storm's eyes in the
bottom scene, panel with
not the bottom 3, but the one right above the 3 bottom.
Oh yeah. Okay, at the top.
Her one eye is yellow in the online. So that messed with me, and I was like, wait, so are they still together? Are they not? But I'm looking at it here, and they're not. It's not. It's white. So that definitely made me think differently. Just today, re-seeing that now. But it makes sense. Yeah, but it does make sense that it shouldn't. They shouldn't, since it didn't happen. But anyways, yeah. So definitely some mixed feelings about kind of how that turned out. But I do like these panels too, by the way.
I was gonna say, let's throw it to Chett here, because I thought these panels with the Storm Warlock are amazing. Obviously, that strange magic with the city of New York skyline's pretty incredible. There's some good artwork going on here, right?
Yeah, the skyline one is pretty decent. It's pretty recognizable. I honestly, I just couldn't. I like this book. Like I said, the art. I won't say it again, but I gotta say, Warlock's the MVP.
Yeah,
he definitely came through big. He communicated to somebody who couldn't understand him at the worst of times, and boom, he got his point across.
Right.
When it's all said and done, and when Doctor Strange, gives Ileana the hair massage, that panel where all of them are discussing it, after it's all said and done. I like that panel. In the dark.
Now after they're back to normal.
Right. Yeah. It's all of them standing there. I mean, there's no color scheme, and it looks. I like it.
Yeah,
and it might be my favorite panel in the book because I guess they didn't have to overdo anything. Can you hear me?
I'm going to mute you. I'm going to mute you for that comment. That was not.
Oh,
not acceptable.
not bad.
Not acceptable.
I'm sorry. I meant to say that Storm in her tin can.
Second best. Yeah, second best. I get it. I get it. It's easy to just dismiss the best and be like, oh yeah, he is the GOAT. Like that's the GOAT. I get it.
I guess I like that one panel.
It's good. Yeah.
I'm miffed on the story overall on the grand scale. Thanks, John.
I love this from Cali Comics saying, "Cool and the Goth would be a great band."
I was saying that his name is Cool and Goth, so he's cool and goth.
Cool and Goth. There you go. Yep. Let's see. I saw some other great comments I want to mention. Yeah, that's right, Jackson Crick. There's no mention of this in any other Marvel book because it didn't happen. It's gone. It didn't happen. Even Cher can't turn back time, right? Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Anybody else? What we got? Nothing to see here. Nothing actually happened. Yes, that's the ending that we really got here.
Under the rug.
Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have all been a dream. This is also true. Also true. My biggest frustration, though, is that they're after all this experience, right? After all they've gone through, nobody's like, can we at least capture the amulet? Can we put that in like a box? Can we Raiders of the Lost Ark this? Can we just like stick it somewhere in like nothing? Because that brings us to the last bit here where it's like, no, we'll go back to the stabbing where we had Jaime Rodriguez with the necklace and the guy was going to kill him. And no, Nimrod's going to take care of it. Hey, Nimrod pops in, blasts the killer, and the necklace falls into a puddle. And how did you know that was going to happen? How did you know Nimrod was going to show up, Doctor Strange? How did you know that was going to? You're confusing me. Disappointing that we didn't actually follow through on. Hey, where did that necklace end up?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, we get Nimrod here, and I'll throw it to Chett this time. Chett, what do you feel of this introduction to a classic X-Men villain now?
Well, yeah, he just popped up out of nowhere. So I mean, it was. This book's got a whole lot of stretching. I guess I could deal with it because it's a first appearance. Or, don't want to turn anybody into an animal and say it's his cameo, blah blah blah.
Right.
But I don't like the fact that the necklace just fell in the puddle. I mean, Doctor Strange is in this book. We once saw Doctor Strange hide an infinity gem in plain sight.
Yeah.
And just say, here you go, Thanos.
Yeah.
Why is this thing still just out and about in rivers and puddles?
You could easily have ended up in the exact same situation without. If Nimrod doesn't show up to kill the guy, you're back here again in a couple of days. You're just doing a couple of days. You're stuck.
Maybe even a couple of hours.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on here.
It's soft.
Yeah, Justin, we got another pink robot to the rescue here. What are your thoughts on another pink droid?
Yep, the more the merrier. Yeah, they don't really get away from change with those colors,
right?
Yeah, like I don't know. For knowing, I only know Nimrod the character really from the more current, the current stuff that's out right now. This is my first time being introduced to the character in the Omni X-Men, the reads that we've covered, obviously, since the series was shown up. So I thought this was kind of I get it's just supposed to be, a little sprinkle into something else, but it just seems so random and so
out of nowhere.
And who and and I don't know, even like his design is, I don't know. It's kind of like a pink Doctor Doom, like kind of zoomed in there, on his face. But so it just was just like.
Except he's not gay.
I just thought that this would be like a
Doom's gay.
Yeah, I was just joking because I think Stewie's laying around somewhere.
I just thought
I might like Doom more now.
I just thought it was a weak attempt at this character. I don't know, at creating this character as a whole. But I know that there's big things to come with this character, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So So this was I get this is just an epilogue or whatever.
Wait until next omnibus.
As far as that's right, as far as like Jaime goes, man, what's gonna happen with him? I mean, he got knocked out. They picked him up. He seems all right.
Nimrod's taking care of him. I don't know. He's helping him.
If Nimrod learns a speech, he's like, "Easy, fella, you'll be okay."
I know. I was wondering when he said that. I'm like, oh, is another character show up here? Like,
I was like, when he was going through the panel, like, who the hell said that? Nimrod,
when he
was he from Brooklyn?
Right.
Yo, my man, you all right?
Could
have been.
Yeah,
could have been. Tony says, after all that reading, it never happened. Really?
Yeah.
Yes. I thought the old woman dropped the necklace in the ocean. That was in the Marvel team up. Peter Parker, I think, threw it in the ocean. Tossed it
exactly.
in the ocean. Jackson Crook says, threw it in the river, dumb. Leaving it in a puddle. What the? Yeah. Maybe it did happen 14 million times in a loop until Nimrod finally showed up and broke the cycle.
You know?
Nimrod came to the past to wear necklaces. Just saying. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Iced out robot killer.
Well, that's how this episode ends, or this issue ends, I should say. So let's throw it around and give this a CGC grade. Justin, what are your thoughts here now that you've seen the story wrap up?
It is tough, man. I'm so like, there are parts that I really enjoy, and the concept of the whole thing is really great. Kulan Goth, I want to see more of him, and I want to actually go back and read. I know you guys talked about it last time that he's a Conan villain, and so I mean I would love to read more on just what he does and where his character goes. The build up to this, yes, there's so much. It's meshed together. It's very messy. A lot of it's forced together. The characters that show up in this, it's confusing, not knowing who's on which team sometimes. But there are these little moments that like I really care about. That like Callisto and Sunder. The part I talked about with Nightcrawler, using his skills and the way he's kind of learned how to use Banfing and all that in that way. I'm thinking that there's so many other moments. Like some of those things kind of save this book for me, even though it's not a good read. Sure. So all that said, I don't want to put a grade on this. I don't want to throw a number out there. And talking about it with you guys and breaking it down, like made it more enjoyable almost. Like like going more in depth with a lot of this stuff.
Get him on the big screen. Let's see if he can give us a score.
The straight face.
Yeah, stuff. Why don't you share your story?
All right, I'll do that. Yeah,
that's the first time that's ever happened on this show.
You can put me on the big screen for this. I have no problem sharing out.
Put him on blast.
Okay, Justin's right. There's not enough cohesiveness to the actual angle of this book. It's everywhere and all at once. It almost feels like the whole story's on one page, just a cluster of everything. I like the story. I like the idea. I just don't feel they delivered correctly. And with the art, that made it a little bit more of a challenge, Yeah. So, Justin, I'm going to say, I mean, like I said, I like this book only because the story I felt like the story was decent and it had potential. I just think they watered it down. So I'm going to go with a 6.0.
Okay.
Which is, I think, about where we were last week on the other issue.
Yeah, but
I like this one more personally. I think it's a little clearer, a little more streamlined. It's a little easier to follow. The outfits are better.
Jesus,
Justin, he wants that Callisto solo series. I get it.
Wait, you're saying they don't do it? They don't do one? My God, that's
so I'm gonna give this a 7.5, just a straight C grade.
Wow.
All right, you're a better man than me.
No, that's really great because I feel like I want to give this thing an 8, but I don't. But that's just it.
Nice round number.
This is not an 8, but it's like my 8. You know what I mean? Like especially because we gave the last one like a 6. You said.
I think we were in that range, 6,
like
somewhere.
A 6. Like either I'm changing my grade to that one and making it a 3, and then this one a 6, or I'm keeping that one a 6, and this one can't be the same as that one because I like this one a lot more.
Sure.
So I'm going to call it an 8.
There you go.
Call it an 8. There you go.
That's fair.
With all of its flaws, I'm calling it an 8.
Magic Glass was saying Chett is speaking the truth. Bobby says it's a 9.5 cluster of fun cluster. There you go.
Nice,
Should have been 4 issues or a mini on its
Agreed.
own. There you go.
Agreed.
John, what whole grade based is on the panel of Storm? I mean, I get it. Without that panel, it would have been a 4. I would agree that panel, that sequence, and I'll throw Callisto in there. I won't shame her at all. This one's 8. I agree with John. And Doom's freak nasty Chett. Just ask Morgan Le Fay. If anyone's struggling with their identity, it's your boy Peter.
Here he goes, man. He don't stop.
Look, it's coming back around. Well, let's
lurking.
Let's get into the numbers. You can get a 9.8 around $190 fair market value if that first appearance of Nimrod's good for you. 9.6 doesn't fall off that steep. It's 130, and then 9.4, 95. There's about 350 of these in a 9.8, 300 or so in a 9.6, and on down from there. First appearance of Nimrod, Storm cosplays, lots of stuff that should say happens, but Doctor Strange makes it all go away. That's about all I got.
That high price is based on what Nimrod is up to today,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, more comments. We got John saying it's a 6. Great art, but story was missed. So he's opposite of Chett with that. Adam says 6. But it's a 5+1 for the introduction of Nimrod. There you go. Let's see here. Did you see my Doctor Doom Dazzler cover from France? So if you guys want to see that, get on over to Instagram. Check on what Lasso's doing. Although he's also got a good YouTube channel. He might have shared it there as well.
Check that out.
I'm going to stop sharing. Gentlemen, do you have any thoughts on the money side of it? Anything you guys wanted to mention about any of that?
I just wanted to point out that it's interesting that it is higher than. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think how we like this cover a lot more than the last 3 or 4. And last issue was like it was like $60 at a 9.8, and I think all of us were like we wouldn't pay for that. At least this here, you're actually getting a solid cover.
There you go.
So I understand
for sure. It looks like it's on Lasso's thumbnail on YouTube. So if you're looking for that Doom and Dazzler, just check out his YouTube channel. There you go. You can. He's got a wrench. Go ahead, Ryan. Drop the link. Let people see it.
Oh, yeah.
So we have wrapped our discussion in around issue 191. As a reminder, go over and subscribe to Justin's channel. We'll be there next week for 192. And that story is going to keep rolling out. Although I think there's only 2 more Uncanny issues left in this omnibus. I think it wraps at 193. But we do have some mini series coming up. There's an Avengers one. There's an Alpha Flight one. So there's some goodies still to have. Just make sure.
Annual 7.
And the annual. Yes, I forgot there's an annual. But we're now to the trivia portion of the show. This is where Justin and I ask you silly questions, and you all try to answer. We get 2 correct answers allowed each time. Let me bring up my questions here. The first and second correct answers, both of them get entries into the raffle. And also the person who entertains Chett the most, that person gets their own entry as well. So we'll give 3 raffle tickets away for each question. Justin, I'm going to kick it off first because I got a question that kind of precedes all the others. Yeah. And I just had to ask it. This is the first time I've asked this question, so just be ready, folks. I wrote an extended answer for Justin, but I'm willing to accept a lot of options here. Really, really willing to let it go. My question is, these are questions about issue 190, the one we did over on Justin's channel, the first part of this arc. My question is, what is this story all about? Can you explain it succinctly? What is this story all about? That's my question to you. Explain to me in one, because YouTube only gives you so many letters, so many characters, and you explain this story.
This is great. I had to pull up your answer again, or answers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm just imagining frantic phone typing. Oh my God. How do you tell the story?
You don't have to talk to me about frantic phone typing.
How do you explain this plot to somebody?
Do not make me put on my crown of typos.
And then when we're at the end, I'll read mine, but I don't think mine's very funny. It was pretty straightforward. And I even wrote more or less at the end.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to answer these questions tonight.
JP wrote Wolverine's sandwich. I mean, it's a fair answer to any question that we ask on this show, but not the correct one. No. Let's see. You have to do that New Mutants episode to understand the X-Men annual. Well, sadly, it's not all in this omnibus, but you know what do you do? How do I copy and paste Chett now? It's complicated. It's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. We really discussed this issue for an hour and a half. This is a complicated issue. You could spend days on this, JP.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah. Pick it apart, man.
There's a lot of funny answers here. I don't know which are the funny ones and which are the true ones. That's the best part about this.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read through a bunch of them, and I'm going to have to decide which ones I think are closest to the correct answer. We got X-Men playing D&D on Sunday night. You got Conan villain comes to Marvel. Boy finds necklace. Boy loses necklace. Boy finds a new way of life. Ryan says it's about the hokey pokey. You turn yourself about. That's what it's all about. Making a joke. Storm in the riskiest poses they could ever get her in. That's the plot. And X-Men Conan homage.
Yep.
There you go. Yep. X-Men plus the Marvel Universe in the age of King Arthur. It's an excuse for Callisto's beach body. The one where Callisto wears no clothes.
Nice little friends.
Comes to power, transforms Manhattan and all of it into pre-civilization world where he came from. I'm going to definitely give Jackson a point. That's as close to my answer as I think I'll ever find.
Pretty great.
That's pretty much the way they explained it in the book.
That is phenomenal. So Jackson, you just got yourself a point. I wrote a Conan villain hidden in the necklace transforms New York City and its heroes into the Middle Ages through magic.
More or less.
That was pretty close, Jackson. That was pretty darn close.
Yeah.
It's about life and death and everything in between. Cheers. Inventory story that would have been published in Marvel Fanfare but wasn't.
It's true.
I would give that a point.
No.
Something about getting necklaced. Evil sorcerer casts an evil spell that transports Marvel characters to a magical landscape. Chaos ensues. Conlon, I'm going to give you the second point, sir.
Nice, Conlon.
There it was. Nothing actually happened.
He's not wrong.
Too many words, John. It's too many words. I get it. Lots of people loving Williams' comments as well.
Yeah.
Again, if Goth can make it there, he can make it anywhere. All right, Chett, were any of those funny enough to be the winner?
Yeah, I got to go with that last one. Goth can make it. Yeah. Bobby, I didn't even know it was him, but that's good stuff right there.
There's some great ones.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. So there you go. 3 points trying to explain these comics. All right. Justin, what do you got, man?
All right. My first one. All right. So this is a fill in the blank. All right. This is something right out of last issue. The explanation of what was happening as these characters were going into the city. It says police became civic guards, guns became swords, and cars became blank and blank. I'm looking for 2 answers in one comment when you guys type these out. So 2 answers. I'll read it again. Police became civic guards, guns became swords, and cars became blank and blank. So in other words, these things were changing or turning into something else while you entered New York City or Manhattan.
It's the X-Men Where's Waldo edition. This is a great description of this book. Doctor Strange summons Nimrod.
Yep.
Hey, Nimrod, clean this up, would you?
Excuse me, fella.
I'm going to say, I'm sorry, Tony, but as best as you're trying, he wanted it all in one comment. You can't. I don't know what you're doing. Although you are making Chett super happy about spelling. Horsia. Or Kiyage.
I go to the kid every week. Remind you.
As I say, he even asked the question, does spelling count? Come on, Tony.
Did he spell that sentence right?
You could ask me that.
Yeah, he didn't capitalize the D. But
there you go. Do you see any correct answers you like, Justin, that you're willing to accept?
Let's see. So
I see some that are similar. I see one that's perfect.
Yeah.
I see one that's exactly the way you wrote it.
Okay.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Oh man, this is it's slightly. I see one that's
it's basically perfect.
It's almost it's not Chett, so it's all right. I only see one though. There's a lot of close ones. We're just gonna give it a 1.
Yeah, I mean, you can give it to the one. I'm assuming it's
William Byrd.
William Byrd.
So it should be horses and
out
chariots.
too loud.
Horses and chariots. There's a lot of carriages, and some wagons and buggies.
So William, you just got your first raffle ticket entry, as far as I can tell.
Oh, nice!
Congratulations on that.
Conlon says tanks and unicycles.
I was gonna say, let's get on to some of the comedy jokes. We got it turns the cars into tanks and unicycles.
Yeah, I can see that.
Cars became Diana and Ross. There it is.
There it is.
You had to do it. Let's see. Your mom and bag. Wow. All right. There you go. Spelling doesn't count for tonight. Oh, yeah. We should have let you guys off the leash a little bit because Chett's here now.
Yeah,
I will boycott.
Cars became Transformer robots.
Nice.
Radio flyer wagons. Yours were definitely comedic.
Yeah, he was going for the purpose.
All right, Chett, any of those that you liked? Any of those that were entertaining for you?
Not as much as I thought they would be. So,
I mean, JP, your mom and bag is pretty dang funny. That was the one that made me laugh the most.
Yeah, that was decent. We'll go with JP's then.
All right, JP gets a point.
Yeah.
Even
JP
though he's your mortal
point.
enemy, I appreciate you.
Man, I thought I was lobbing a softball there. I thought people would have some.
I thought so too.
Back and forth. The blank and blanks usually do it.
The slip and slide, maybe.
Yeah.
my second question. Oh, what we got? Art chemist as well. Sorry. Thank you, Don. Good to see you. Art chemist, what's going on? Good to see you too. Jumping in the chat, gentlemen. My question, I have two possible answers I will accept. I will accept either one. But the question is, what was unusual about Spider-Man in this world? What was unusual about him in issue 190? They gave us a couple of things about him, and I mentioned some of them tonight. But let's see if you guys can tell me what was strange about Spider-Man. I know I have 4 points for the entire season. JP, you are at almost 20. You're nearing 20, my man. You got 18 at it. So you're still there.
My man missed math class.
Yeah, I will accept. I got a bunch of correct answers. So let's go back to the top. I'm gonna accept this. Yeah, he was in his regular suit. He was still in his costume. He looked relatively the same. So let's get Alan in there. Where's Alan? He's up here. There he is. That's your 6th entry. And another correct answer would have been he still spoke English. He spoke American modern English. Yep. So I'll accept that, Adam. There's other correct answers here. Spell had no effect on his memory. He had all of his memories. Right. Simply, he didn't change. He looked the same. He was the same. He didn't have the theme song. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. That's the only comedy answer I got so far.
He showed off a lot more leg.
Let's see here. Aunt May wasn't dying. That's different. Spooderman. That was his that was weird about it. He went by Spooderman instead. He kept his pants on. Come on. He's always he found Wolverine's sandwich. He became a DC character. Get out of here. You're gonna lose this guy. Your goal is to make Chett happy. I don't know what that's all about.
That would kill me.
He was totally on time. He was cosplaying as Jesus. Oh Lord.
Yeah, that's the winner.
There was Adam. There was Adam coming in strong at the end off the ropes.
That was the one.
That's your 25th, Adam. You are doing strong work too. You are catching up on Candace there. All right, last question of the night, Justin. What do we got?
Oh, this is great. What was Storm doing when Callisto said, "Quit showing off, Aurora"? There's one scene, something that Storm was doing, and Callisto said, "Quit showing off, Aurora."
Even I forgot that one.
We highlighted
books.
Right. We did take some time to highlight it because it was a pretty funny moment. I already see the correct answer. So I have Thony first.
I'll say, Jackson was second, right?
Roy, yeah.
There you go.
All right. Jackson and Thony. Old Wolf, good to have you here. 5.
Alan, you came in just a few seconds.
Just barely missed it.
Yeah.
Fair. Changing into her Magikini.
Yeah, love the Magikini invention.
I'm just gonna keep moving. Just gonna keep moving. Just don't even. I think that might be the one. It looks like
that's gotta be the one, man.
Let's just look at the other ones and see. Struck a pose, showing off her shadowless Charizard PSA 10.
Ooh,
that's a good one too.
There you go. Red Sonja cosplay, cinching up her thong. I think he means thong. Comparing beach bods with Callisto. And trimming for that G-string, but I think Magic Lasso might have pulled that one out.
Yeah, he kind of did. Pretty simple, pretty easy.
That was quite a play.
Hey, tough guy. I gotta plug my phone in because I didn't realize I was almost on E.
We're gonna wrap it up here, folks. That was it. That was amazing. That was so much fun. A huge thank you as always to Chett, the Chett Eye Knight. His link.
You guys are welcome, of course.
His Instagram is down below because you got to check out his amazing comics. The links for Justin are also down below because we're going to be over on his channel for issue 192 next week. So make sure you're over there. If you answer trivia, hold on to that stuff in your memory because we're going to be back next week with more trivia for you. And of course, Thony Silas, our featured artist, his Instagram is down below and you can check out his amazing work or just ask me on Instagram. I'll shoot you the link. You can check out his great stuff. And I've got a piece that I bought from him so I can vouch for the work. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I'm going to play us out with Bobby's great clip. Another thank you to Bobby Delgado for snagging this. And I think we'll see you guys all again soon.
You're watching X-Men Omni with Justin and John. And their good friend, Hank. Hell yeah.